Happy hump day, everyone. And may I say, Wednesday, pretty solid day overall. If I really have any kind of low, it's the fact that yesterday, this was the first, legitimately cold day for me. From morning until last night, cold all the way through. I'm not really much of a fan of that, like many people are. But there you go. But my high is, where do you begin? Charlie Conroy aired his first episode of his Let's Play of Paper Mario. I got to spend the evening with my folks. We went to Five Guys for dinner. And, okay, the main topic of today I'll get into. One of my favorite comedians of all time released a stand-up special. I'll get to that momentarily. And my act of kindness was I helped take care of the garbage because it was a garbage day today for my folks, and so I brought the garbage cans out to the curb for them. So there we go. Now, I mentioned that one of my all-time favorite comedians released a new stand-up special that's on Netflix. The comic in question, you all know him as Gabriel Iglesias, better known as Fluffy. And I've talked about Gabriel Iglesias before, so I'll do a quick Cliff Note version of what I've talked about regarding him so far. I've been watching him since, I was a little kid. I'd say I was around, Actually, hold on a second. Let me look up one thing before I continue. Because I saw his first stand-up special on Comedy Central years ago. I just need to see when it aired. If I can find it. Okay, so roughly about 18 years old. That's how long I've been watching for. And I pretty much have seen, never mind, I have seen every single one of his stand-up specials. Crazy, right? So, needless to say, I was not about to miss this next special. And if you think all he does is stand-up specials, way back last year, I also talked about his show, Mr. Iglesias, that was on Netflix. It was a really good, but sadly very short-lived series, but I really liked it. And in that video, I remember talking about the thing about Gabriel Iglesias that a lot of people really do like is he really does act like that one guy who's just super nice, like your friend, your neighbor, and he just has, as funny as he is, there's a certain level of warmth to him, if that makes sense. Any great comedian can take a common situation and make it funny, and Gabriel Iglesias is no exception. But he does have a few things working to his advantage. One is he doesn't just tell jokes, but, he does different kinds of voices, but I'll get into that in a second. He can make sound effects, the sound of a car door closer, like that or whatever. He can do a cow, like that or whatever. He can do that. Okay, I can sort of do that too, but not as good as he can. I'll acknowledge that. And he just knows how to work a joke to his, he really is as good as I'm making him out to be. And if you're a nerd or a fanboy and you don't know who Gabriel Iglesias is, I would suggest you turn in your fanboy card. Because who doesn't know who he is? Especially remember when I mentioned that he does voices earlier? Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. The special he did was called Stadium Fluffy. Now, Stadium Fluffy, as its name suggests, took place at Dodger Stadium. Gabriel Iglesias was actually back on Hot Ones a while back, and he was talking about that stand-up special where, it was filmed 50,000 people, and like there was just so much love around. And if you watch this special, you can tell right away that the whole love part, that's true. And I really loved how it opened. Well, first it opened with Martin. Like, can you tell I'm a fan of his work? You know, talking about you know, what you would expect to see in the stand-up special force and stuff like that. But what really made it good was, and you knew this was going to be a great show, and it gives you an idea of just how nice of a guy Gabriel Iglesias really is. When the show began, he gets on stage, obviously everyone's cheering. I mean, come on, it's Gabriel Iglesias, why would you not cheer for the guy? And he says, "We did it. I didn't do it, we did it." Like, he's referring to every single person out there who is, like, even if you weren't there, obviously me, for example, like, you know who you are. Like, Gabriel Iglesias is definitely, what he's definitely most thankful about is, like, all the wonderful people who go to see and watch him perform. Like, he and Martin even mentioned how, like they started on, like, garages, barbecues, you know, weddings, and, like, small gigs, and he worked up to where he is now. I thought that was really cool. Okay, so highlights from, okay, this is going to get into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, stop the video here. So highlights for me is, obviously, whenever he talked about, you know, the pandemic, because of course he had to. He originally was going to have the special in San Antonio, and they tried doing something like that in San Antonio, but the Airbnb they had a giant roach in it, and sure enough, possibly from the roach, Gabriel Iglesias got COVID, which is sad because, like, 85% of the parameters that, you know, of people who are likely to get COVID, he fits into. You know, I mean, he's fluffy. Of course he's overweight. And he is over the age of, you know, 40. And he is diabetic. Like, literally every single, I mean, the more I say it, it does sound kind of like, okay, now I kind of see where the conspiracy theories are going on with that, but bear with me. So he talked about how, like, you know, he had COVID. He talked about how he lost 70 pounds because all the restaurants are closed and he doesn't know how to cook. So there you go. He talked about how he went vegan for around a year, which, hey, listen, you know, he lasted a lot longer than I would. I can guarantee you that. Let's see. Oh, I was talking about voices earlier. During the pandemic, he actually filmed the movie from his living room, as he was the voice of Speedy Gonzalez in Space Jam 2. And he is, I mean, if you know anything about Speedy Gonzalez or any of the Looney Tunes in general, you should know that when they were first being made, only one man voiced them all. His name was Mel Blanc. And another voice actor known as Billy West perfectly described Mel Blanc as, you know, that one photo, that one portrait of God and man, like, coming in like this? Like, Mel Blanc, everybody else. Like, that's the best way to describe Mel Blanc. And obviously, when voice actors die, their characters obviously don't. They gotta be replaced somehow, right? And for the most part, over the years, lots of people have voiced characters like Bugs Bunny and Daffy and Porky Pig. Actually, Bob Berger is the voice of Porky Pig, and he's really good at it. So all those Looney Tunes characters. And with Speedy Gonzalez, there was a huge controversy way back when, because, I mean, he is a Mexican stereotype. He is. But Gabriel Iglesias talked about how, like, that was the only legit representation Mexican people had back in the day. And as someone who watched Looney Tunes a lot when he was a kid, you know, I didn't see anything wrong with it at all. And maybe it's because I'm a dumb white guy, but I didn't see anything wrong with it at all. I was just watching cartoons that to this day still hold up as being completely hilarious. Although it has been quite a while since I've seen a Speedy Gonzalez cartoon. I should watch it again. And Gabriel Iglesias actually did the voice of Speedy Gonzalez on stage. And no, obviously I can tell the difference between him and Mel Blanc, who was the original voice of Speedy. But for what Gabriel Iglesias did, it's darn near perfect. I've got no complaints whatsoever. You know, if going forward, Warner Brothers wants to make Gabriel Iglesias the definitive voice of Speedy Gonzalez going forward, like, I'd be okay with that, sure. I'd love to see that. I think we should let's be honest, people have been trying to recreate all the Looney Tunes cartoons of yore for like decades now, and sometimes they come close. They have. But for the most part, like, those original Warner Brothers cartoons were just lightning in a bottle that no one can seem to replicate, I suppose. But, you know, you can still watch the classics on YouTube. A bunch of them are on YouTube, actually. Let's see, what else did Gabriel Iglesias talk about? Obviously, he had another story about his son named Frankie. Although, literally, like, the best part about this show, outside of the last show, which I'll get into in a minute, really just stem from how real he made it, but you could still root for him. See, over the last couple years, you know, he and his wife are no longer together. He got divorced. And he talked about how, you know, that was like his first true love. Is the woman he was with for like 14 years and raised his son, Frankie, whatever. Like, I'm watching this and like, oh my God, not to be the dead horse and another dead horse, but I got my heart broken earlier this year too. So I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, that's what happened to me. I don't know if he actually made it relatable on purpose, but I'll take it because, again, you know, at the end of the day, any comedian is just a regular person. They just happen to be very, very funny. But they also know how to be real, how to be genuine. And any great comedian, especially the ones that I personally have seen and watched over the last couple of years, like, they can do that. Another great example of another comedian that I've been watching is Eliza Schlesinger, who I think she's probably, like, in terms of female comedians that I've ever watched, I think she's easily the most animated, for sure. If I had like a Mount Rushmore of female comedians, I'd put Eliza on there. I really would. But that's just me. So, let me keep going. Where was I? Right, talk about, okay. I obviously can't talk about this special without talking about the last joke that he did, which was a story about how, you know what, I'll just say the ending, because you need to understand, because this is what he did. He said the ending first, and then he did the story. He left the stage completely nude. I'm gonna let you watch the special to figure out what that is. So, what can I say? This is, when this special was funny, it really made me laugh. When it got real, specifically about the parts about, he and his wife no longer together, it made me well up. It made me feel the emotion. I almost started to cry for him, which is good. You're supposed to. And especially when he talked about the whole cancel culture thing, thank you. If you follow the whole cancel culture nonsense, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I totally believe in, equal representation among everyone. So when you want, seriously, Gabriel Iglesias actually had to sort of fight to continue to be the voice of Speedy Gonzalez. I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous. It is. That shouldn't be the case at all. I mean, Gabriel Iglesias was perfect as Speedy, was the perfect replacement for Mel Blanc as Speedy Gonzalez. And anyone who wants to discredit that is an idiot. It is. But sadly, that's the world we live in. But that's again, that's why the show worked the way it did. That's why this whole special worked the way it did. It was just, it literally checked all the boxes. When it wanted you to laugh, you laughed. When it wanted you to feel the feels, you felt the feels. And in my case, after I saw it, I'm I have to talk about this special. Because, I'd seen a few really great stand-up specials. One thing I do like to do is watch stand-up comedy specials. And thanks to Netflix, I can actually watch them all. And I've seen a lot of great ones. Patton Oswalt's We All Scream was great. Eliza Schlesinger's Hot Forever. That was hilarious. But I don't want to say if you want to be technical, yeah, Stadium Fluffy was probably the best one I've seen so far this year. But I don't want to discredit the other two I just mentioned because they were both really funny. But hey, you know what? I just gave you 3 stand-up specials on Netflix you can watch. So go look them up. But this is about Fluffy. And Fluffy, if on the very slim chance you're watching this, I've been watching you since 2008, even though your career's been longer than that. So for the last 12 years, actually it's more like 14 now, thank you for making me laugh for so long. You've just been fun. Seriously, again, you are that neighbor that we all want to be your friend. That we all want to be your friend, And it was great. I highly recommend, if you have Netflix, you should check them out. But I highly recommend it. And yeah, I should probably mention, if you're not a fan of Gabriel Iglesias, this probably won't sway you at all. But if you want a good laugh and maybe even a decent cry, watch it. Totally my recommendation. So, I hope y'all liked this video, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do your YouTube channel greatly. Follow me on social media. As always, I am very humbled I made this video. For all of you guys watching, enjoy for today, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to let you know. Always your back. Take care, and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.